Advanced vendors, very important when it comes to business credit. What are they? How do they work? It's exactly what we're going to dive into during today's training. Today, we're going to talk about advanced vendors that really are rarely, if ever, talked about when it comes to business credit building because they don't really help you build business credit, but they will give you credit without a personal guarantee and credit check. And these are not starter vendors. These are on the other end of the spectrum. So by the end of this training, you're going to know what advanced vendors are. We're going to have a background look through a business credit, what it can do for your business, and we're going to specifically start mapping out and looking at a lot of these advanced vendors that are operating behind the scenes. So you might not even know that they'll give you credit without a personal guarantee or credit check. We're going to pull back the curtains, reveal who they are, reveal exactly what's needed to get approved. We got a lot to dive into, so let's get started. First of all, hello to Drew's Property Management. You were the first one here. Congratulations. And Brilliant Davis coming in from Tucson, Arizona. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for being here today. All right, so why bother building business credit to begin with, right? Because we talk about it a lot. Well, look, how strong your business credit profile and score is really determines three things. It determines if you're going to get approved for credited financing. It determines how much you're going to get approved for. And it determines the rates and terms that you're going to pay. Period. So business credit report and score is just as important to your business as a personal credit report and score is to you individually. Can you get money without having personal credit on the personal side? Yeah, but it's a big uphill battle. And if you do get approved with bad credit or no credit, then you pay outrageous high interest rates in short terms as a result of that. Same thing applies in the business world. Really tough to get approved for credit cards, credit lines, and loans and financing without business credit. And if you typically do, you're looking at, well, let's look at like even merchant cash advances, for example, when you could be looking at 30, 40, 50, 60% interest rate that you're paying over a very small, short period of time, 2 or 3 years. So what happens with this is it's just not practical to get the money you need even if you can get approved because the money is so expensive. Now, beyond making it easier to get money, another big thing where business credit is really, really, really important is that it basically helps you eliminate liability. It makes it where you're not personally liable for what's actually happening in the business. And this is very important. We need to separate this personal and business liability. If we look at the authorities in the financial space, we look at places like Inc. and Entrepreneur, not necessarily the financial space, but the ones that are authorities that speak to the financial space, like SBA, Inc., Entrepreneur, Score. Any of them all say the same thing. You've got to separate consumer and commercial credit. You've got to separate consumer and commercial liability. And the reason for that is that you don't want to move forward and personally be liable for what's happening in your business. There's so many variables to running a business that are outside of your control that you don't want to go down personally with the ship per se if anything happens to the business. And look, let's be honest, we saw this during COVID. We saw completely industries shut down for months or even years at nothing they could even do to affect that right now. Whether they survived or didn't really depended on their ability to access money through this. And we're really in a good situation through COVID compared to the mortgage crisis because with COVID, we saw money poured into this space by the government to help give us time to heal, to help bail us out. Whereas we didn't really see this in the mortgage industry at all. A lot of the industries and companies that were affected didn't get the help they need. So in a typical world where the economy changes and you're personally liable for what's happening in your business, you want to try to remove that liability as much as you easily can. So this is where it comes into building business credit because you can build business credit and get financing regardless of your personal credit quality. You can get it without personal guarantees. The funding that does rely on personal credit or as business credit as a loan, not a loan, but looks for factors is easier and better terms to get than what you're going to be looking at if you don't have established business credit. On top of that, a lot of other things. Your business credit report is public knowledge. Anybody can see this. So anybody that wants to look at your business credit reports can. When this conversation came up the other day, when PayPal was turning down loans because of too many commercial inquiries on credit reports. And this came up internal in our team, and they said, I thought that inquiries on business credit reports couldn't affect these approvals. And we're like, they can't because business credit reports are publicly available. Anybody can inquire. It's not just when you're applying, anybody can get them. And then we look at the fine print. We see it's not that business loans are getting turned down by PayPal because of inquiries on business credit reports. It's because of personal credit reports. So again, being able to have money for your business obtained without personal inquiries is very important to getting the maximum funding for your business. You want to get away from the personal guarantees as we talked about. You want to separate your consumer and commercial credit so the business can stand on its own. So the business can apply for credit, and then the lender or credit issuer say, well, I want to look at your personal credit. You say, no, I'm not going to do that. My business can stand on its own. Look at my business credit reports. And then the credit issuer say, yeah, you're right. I'm going to give you an approval just because your business can stand on its own. It doesn't need you personally to vouch for it. So there's so many benefits, including the fact that per SBA, the limits on these accounts we're talking about today are 10 to 100 times higher than consumer credit. So if you're used to getting credit card limits of $500, $1,000, $5,000. In the business world, you're seeing $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 limits 60 or 90 days into this process. That's outrageous. Never in the consumer world can you start a credit report and 90 days later get individual credit limit accounts for 50 grand. But you can do that in the business space. So there's so many benefits that make it very important to be able to build business credit. But the more that you do this, the easier it is to tap in and actually get the money that you really need to grow. And if you don't mind, tell me where you're from. I always like giving you a shout out. Texas in the house from Key Tex. Thanks for coming in. And Drew's Property Manager says, can you have too much credit or too many vendors? And the answer is no, you absolutely can. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. What we found is the more accounts, trade lines, payment experiences you have reporting on your business credit reports, the more tiers of credit become available. The more existing credit issuers want to give you money. And there's a reason for this. The reason for this is that historically, business credit has been kept secret. It's not publicly available information. Usually it's CFOs or financial controllers that know how to do it. You have to be a pretty big business to get CFOs or controllers involved. I mean, usually 20 million plus. So what happens is these vendors have been able to just get by relying on kind of ignorance, people not knowing that it even existed, and only experienced big businesses coming in and actually getting it and applying and getting approved, right? So what happens is when it comes to business credit building, you can't have too much credit because credit issuers look at the more credit you have, the bigger your business is because they think you're just bumping into it. They don't know you're executing a well thought out system to build it intentionally because we're pretty new to that, right? That's pretty new to the space over really the last decade where companies like us have come in and said, look, there is a system. Here's the system. Anybody can do it. So the reality is the more accounts you have on your business credit reports, the better. It definitely doesn't hurt you in any way by having accounts that report, nor does it hurt you by having inquiries on your business credit reports. And Elisa says, I have an LLC, but every single time I apply for commercial credit, they pull my personal credit and decide accordingly. I come up against the barrier over and over again. Okay, so let's talk about this really quick. There's a reason for that. And the reason is that a couple things. First, you're applying out of order. There's an order to apply for business credit. First, you have to build the fundability. Second, you have to use starter vendors or credit line hybrid, one of those two programs, to get an initial handful of payment experiences on your business credit reports. That gives you what we call trade lines. It gives you a credit profile. It gives you a credit score. With credit score, trade lines, and a credit profile, then you can move on to retail credit, Staples, Amazon, Walmart. Then with 8 accounts, you can move to fleet credit. With 14, you can move to Visa or MasterCard. So that is the series of steps you have to take. If you go and grab our guide, creditsuite.com/EIN, it will map those steps out for you. If you skip the steps, you're going to run into this problem. Second thing, you can't let them pull your personal credit. If you're ever going to give your social security number in an application for credit, you need to clarify that you are not authorizing a guarantee or credit check. If that means you have to call them to apply or fax an application, then that means you call or fax the application and don't apply online. But never give your social unless it is clearly disclosed that it is not being used for qualification. Now, you have to understand what happens then, and I think it's Aisa. Aisa, what happens at that point is you're telling Staples, no, you can't pull my personal credit. You must make the decision based on business credit quality. So you can tell them no social and force them to pull commercial credit reports. But the problem is if you don't have commercial credit reports, you're going to immediately get declined. So before you stick your chest out and say, no consumer credit check, you look at commercial, you have to make sure your fundability is set up the right way. You have to make sure you have at least a handful of payment experiences before you apply for retail credit, or 8 before you get fleet, or 14 before you get Visa card. You have to make sure that you have the credit profile built out enough to get approved before you do that. So some things to think about. Jersey in the house, and Montgomery, Alabama's in the house as well. Hello, thanks for tuning in. All right, so let's talk about advanced vendors here. So business credit building is not really a means to an end, but it is really the absolute central part of getting the money you need. Now, why there's a lot of strong benefits out there, okay, it also really helps you to be able to access vendors that will help you grow the business. That's what this is about. This isn't about you building a credit profile to, have in case a prospect looks at it, or to make it easier to get loans, or to be able to do these things that some people build business credit for. Business credit fundamentally is built to help you get the money that you need to grow the business, period. And if you put loans and credit lines and everything else out of your mind, and you just focused on business credit building, it would account for 80 to 90% of any funding you could ever potentially need in the business. Business credit can be used by itself for your business to fund itself. It's that simple. So it's not just a matter of creating a reputation and doing all these things. Business credit fundamentally is built because it alone can give you the money that you need to actually grow the business, especially using these advanced vendors. So what are advanced vendors? Well, basically, they're vendors that don't report credit to the business credit reporting agencies. Now, that's why we've never talked about them before, ever. Never brought these guys up before. Because the reality is my training is about building business credit. These do not help you build business credit. So why am I talking about them, and why would I call them advanced if they don't help you build business credit? The reason is because they can help you grow your business. They can help you get the money that you need to grow the business, even if they don't report. I'm going to give you a lot of these sources today, but let me give you one very simple example you've probably heard of. It's a company called Apple. Apple is an advanced vendor. Apple is nobody that I've had a little bit of training on getting an Apple account, but very rarely do I talk about Apple, because Apple doesn't report credit. They give you to Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, or Experian. They don't report the credit to a business credit reporting agency. They're not going to help you build business credit by getting Apple. But let's be honest, a lot of us buy Apple products, right? And so in doing so, having credit with Apple for $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, that's a big deal. For us to be able to go buy iPhones and iPads and iMac computers and all the things that Apple sells is a pretty big deal and can really help our business. So being able to get $10,000 of credit at Apple to buy the stuff I need is going to help me whether Apple reports that credit or they don't. That's an example of what advanced vendors can do for you. They do not report your payments to a commercial reporting agency, but they will approve you for business credit based on you having an established business credit profile and score, even if they don't report. So what's the benefit? Well, the main benefit is they help you grow your business. They're not helping you build your commercial credit report, but they're helping you get the money you need to actually be able to grow the business. So what does it look like practically? Let me give you 3 simple examples. So suppose a contractor is hired to remodel a kitchen, right? The supplies are going to cost money, but the client isn't going to pay until the job is done. Well, if the contractor has business credit with advanced vendors to purchase those supplies, then he can take the job and pay his suppliers when the customer pays, okay? So let me give you a real example from one of our clients, Christine. Christine got $300,000 worth of credit from a local roofing company. Now, to you, that might not mean anything. In her industry, that's a big deal. That means all the supplies she usually has to pay for out of pocket, or a Visa card or a MasterCard, or get a credit line or get a loan to pay for, she no longer needs to. The local company has given her a $300,000 credit line. This is massive for her. It's the difference between her business having 1 truck on the road, literally, and buying a 50 truck operation to do what she's doing, is that the fact that this contractor has given her so much credit. That's not it. It's all this credit that she's got, not just that one. But that vendor doesn't report to the business credit reporting agencies. They're not helping her build business credit, but they're going to help her grow her business because she actually got approved and is using the credit she's got to actually grow the business. So one of many examples of where this can help. And Anissa says, help. It's driving me nuts. Hopefully that's something that I can actually, hopefully the feedback I've given you is already helping. Hello from Atlanta, Cypher. Hello. And Elisa says, oh, where is that link for those steps? It's at creditsuite.com/EIN. You're on YouTube. I think our team has already typed into chat in YouTube the actual link. Okay, so how can I see fundability as well? If you go to creditsuite.com/EIN, actually look, not only did our team put it in the chat, but it's at the bottom right here of my slide, creditsuite.com/EIN. This will walk you through fundability as well. If you go to youtube.com/creditsuite and just type in fundability or type in business credit building, you will see that we have thousands of videos on our channel and many videos that map out everything you need to know about fundability and everything you need to know about building your business credit as well. If you follow the right steps, you'll get approved. But if you follow the steps out of order, that's when you get denied, which is what you're running into. So let's look at a second example. Local boutique owner wants to stock some special gift items. Chance to purchase the hottest new toy for the holiday season comes along. Toys flying off the shelves. Great opportunity, but there's a minimum required purchase, right? Very common in retail. They got to go out and purchase so many units, which means they need a lot of money up front. Well, if they're able to get business credit with that vendor, then there is no issue. They use the credit they got to buy the toy. They put the toys on the shelf. The toys sell. They pay back the credit they're given. Do you know who's a master of this? Walmart. 80% of what Walmart sells is exactly the same as the examples I'm giving you. They go to Bounty and they buy paper towels. Now, Bounty doesn't report the credit that they get on the business credit reporting agencies. Walmart doesn't care. They're using credit to buy Bounty's paper towels. They put them on the shelf. You come in, you give Walmart money. Walmart takes your money. They pay off the credit they used to buy the paper towels. 80% of what Walmart sells is this way. When you walk and see at a Walmart shelf, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 items, and know that when you get to 8 of those were bought on credit. 9 and 10 were the only 2 that were actually purchased with cash. There is more in money to Walmart, cash injection through business credit, than there is through all shareholder value in the entire company. It is the number one actual asset money-wise that Walmart has. Walmart's trade lines with Experian exceed 500 trade lines. It's how they become the number one retailer in the world. And if you read Sam Walton's book, he talks about business credit very early, back in the 70s when he's coming in and applying. It's how he built the entire company. It's not that Walmart today buys 80% of what they do using business credit. What you've got to understand is business credit was fundamentally how Walmart built itself. It's how Sam built it. And don't take my word for it. Look at his book. If you read his autobiography, he will map out exactly what he did and how he did it. And that's what he did. He went and got business credit and used the business credit to buy what he needed to be able to sell. Repeat the process. Went from 1 store to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. His wife's like, let's kick back. We're good now. He's like, nah. If you're okay, I'd like to keep going. And here we are now with over 2,000 stores and the number one retailer in the world because they've done exactly what I'm saying here. So we don't care if these vendors are poor. Advanced vendors help us grow the business even if they don't report. So example 3, music teacher, studio for offering lessons to teachers or to children as beginners. Many of them do not have an instrument and they see an opportunity as a teacher to make money here. So a business credit account that acts from an instrument supply company, okay, could be very useful. Instead of actually going out and buying in bulk all these instruments out of pocket, which a music teacher can't do, and keeping them on stock. So now they can actually use credit to be able to buy the instruments, allowing the teacher the opportunity to sell the instruments to the actual student and get the money they need to pay off the credit they borrow. I hope you get what I'm saying with these examples. This is fundamental using Walmart as well as building a company. If you can get the supplies that you need, whatever it is you're selling, whatever it is you need to upsell, using credit, not cash, then it gives you the ability to use credit to buy it, then sell it, then use the money to be able to pay off the credit you got. OPM, other people's money. It's how all of the largest publicly and privately owned companies in the world work. Here, I'll show you. Speaking of Apple, let me just give you a simple example of this, okay? So watch, Apple. Cash on hand. So Apple currently, and let's look at this, Apple debt. Apple debt. So currently, Apple in debt has $120 billion of debt as of March of 2021, and Apple has $195 billion in cash. See what I'm saying? I mean, think about it. Apple is the biggest cash company that exists in the world. They have more cash on hand than I don't know if any of them does. I mean, I know they're the biggest out there, I think, in market share. So why is it that they have $197 billion in cash, but yet here they are with $120 billion in debt? Logical Dave Ramsey people says, hey, Apple, I got a solution for you. Why don't you take your $193.5 billion in cash and use it to pay off your $120 billion in debt? Okay, that's what a Dave Ramsey student would say to do. But there's a reason Apple's the most valued company in the world, because what they're doing here is they're using other people's money by acquiring debt to make it work for them to grow the company bigger and faster than they ever could just using their cash to do so. And this is how they become the number one market share company in the world. So again, Apple, Walmart, it doesn't matter. I can go on and on. Every one of the largest publicly and privately owned companies in this country does business this way. Publix, right here in Lakeland, Florida, 30 miles down the road from me, okay? One of the largest privately owned companies in the country. If you pull their business credit reports, you'll see 100 plus trade lines. They're borrowing money to be able to use it to grow and scale. Whether those companies report or not doesn't matter to them. So that's the key to being able to come in and grow a successful business, is tapping into these kind of advanced vendors. Okay, so again, these are companies that will help you come in and grow. So what's the catch? Well, not all toy suppliers, instrument vendors, suppliers of products will offer this type of credit, but many of them do, even at a local level, even if they don't report. So again, it could take some time to find them, to figure this out. However, you can speed up the process by, again, if we can help you along the way, you can work with Credit Suite. We help expedite this to help you getting approved for these kind of advanced vendors, okay? So that being said, a lot of benefits here. And let me give you some more examples. Actually, let's dive into some specific examples of these vendors. Access Hardware Supply, for example, leading wholesale distributor of products for top names in door hardware and security technology. They need an entity in good standing, an EIN, a business address, and a D&B DUNS number. Now, if you are here, if you are selling door hardware and security tech, okay, my buddy Jason Keys, he is in from California tonight. Him and I are doing dinner. He's in the security space. So Jason does a lot in the security space, and when people need the security systems, he's paying out of pocket for them and then selling them to them, right? But he doesn't need to. He can come in and be able to go to Access Hardware, get credit with them, use it to buy the security systems he needs, and then go back and actually sell that to the customers, take the customer's money, and use it to pay off the credit he was actually given. What else they need for approval? Business bank account, bank references, trade references as well. No minimum time in business required. That you've got to have a good Experian business credit report to get it, and they'll give you net terms of 30, 60, even 90 days. Central Restaurant Products, provider of virtually anything needed for the food service industry. You need an entity in good standing, business credit history, EIN number, business address matching everywhere, DUNS number as well, business license, business bank account, bank references, trade references at 1 year time in business, and an 80 Paydex score, which literally means you pay your bills as agreed. Let's think about this. You know how much money is involved in launching a restaurant? I mean, think about it. The tables, the chairs, the ovens, all that stuff where like they put, like, I don't know, if you're running a deli, right? All the coolers and stuff that are there for all the toppings, the refrigeration units, the freezers. It is tens of thousands, if not six figures in money that you would need to deploy. So what are you going to do? You think you're going to start a restaurant with the $100,000 loan? Restaurants are one of the riskiest businesses per NAICS industry type that's out there. Okay, it's one of the hardest industries to get money because the failure rate is so high. But now you could build your business credit, come in and get an account for $100,000 at Central Restaurant Products, and use the $100,000 you need to either rehab the entire restaurant or to be able to fix what, or to be able to buy what's actually needed to even launch it. Could you do this with a startup? Yeah. You could come in, build business credit, and get to this level in less than a year. Now, Central Restaurant Products has a year time and business requirement. A lot of companies don't. So it's an example here of completely different industries, security industry, putting in doors, creating a restaurant where almost all of what you need to get the business off the ground can be obtained through these advanced vendor business credit accounts. Sherwin-Williams, you're familiar with them, right? Paint and coating, okay, been around over 150 years. You can get approved for a credit line with them if you have an entity in good standing, EIN, business address that matches everywhere, D&B DUNS number, business license. Okay, if you also have a business bank account, 3 trade references, and again, like many of these sources, they might want a guarantee if you don't have enough credits. Well, you got to build credit first before you get to them. And they'll give you terms upwards of net 20. So again, a lot of them will give you the credit that you actually need without personal guarantees or credit check. And remember, when I'm talking about personal guarantees, I'm talking about you personally being liable for the actual business debt. Okay. So we don't want this. It's a bad thing if we don't have to provide it. Loans, credit lines, there's definitely times we need to, but with this kind of revolving credit, we just don't. Now, trade references. The other thing to think about here is that 2 things happen. Even if they don't report the account on the business credit report, we still get it what's called a trade reference. We can still use them. I just gave you 3 sources as examples. I'm going to show you a bunch more right now. But of those 3 sources, they all wanted references, right? So all these sources can work as trade references. When you go to apply for a credit line, a loan, or another credit card, or vendor credit with another vendor, you can still use all of these counts as trade references, even if they don't report to the business credit reporting agencies. Also keep in mind, trade references are very common. This is one of the things that's actually really wanted when you're building business credit. So by getting credit with vendors that don't report, it gives you the ability to obtain trade references as well. So this is our business finance suite. This is what our clients use step by step to build business credit along with our coaching team. As you can see, if I go to tier 4 credit here in our step 7, and we go to look, this is all the kind of credit you can get without a personal guarantee or credit check. Okay, we've got Visa cards, MasterCards, auto financing here. We've got computer leases. Credit just about everywhere. Ford, Toyota, Ally Financials in here, gas cards, a lot of it. But if I go to the bottom here, I say non-reporting trades. Look at how many of these guys there are. These just keep getting added. I mean, there's more and more and more of these. United Airlines, Meyer. Okay, room and board. Chase is on here as well. So look at all these banks, all these credit issuers that you're able to get that will give you money based on business credit quality. O'Reilly Auto Parts, well known, but they don't report to a business credit reporting agency. So as you can see, there's just so many of these for so many purposes that you're able to get approved for. Here's John Deere, Navy Federal Credit Union. And you can see now we make it really easy for our clients because we tier the kind of credit they can get. We list the underwriting guidelines for every single source because we work with the underwriters, what they sell, the secret link to come in here to actually get approved. So we make it really easy because we tier it and we say, this is everything you need to get approved. And this wouldn't be green if I couldn't get approved. Okay, that means go, means we're good. You're able to get approved. We would gray it out if you don't have enough trade lines to get approved. So once you have enough trade lines and we say, okay, these accounts will all work for you. And you're able to come in again. Here's even Best Buy. This is a great example, okay? Divvy, for example, they're contacting me right now because they want us to become an affiliate. So Best Buy can help a lot of us. Even if they don't report the credit that we give or they give us to a business credit reporting agency, it still helps us with Barclays Bank and Newegg and Apple. Here, I mentioned Apple is on the list. You know, see how many there are? I mean, I could go on and on and on. But so many of them will give you credit without a personal guarantee, without a credit check based on business credit quality. FedEx is on the list. Budget rental car is on the list, right? But again, they don't report the credit to a reporting agency, which is why we don't include them in our typical steps of building business credit. It's also why I rarely talk about these advanced vendors because they don't help you build business credit. They help you grow your business by giving you access to just about every kind of credit and financing you could think about, from interstate batteries to discount school supplies. Okay, so National Pen. So again, so much of this kind of credit and this advanced credit space is available without the personal guarantee, without the actual personal credit check, okay? And Vaughn, thank you very much for saying this is great info. I appreciate it. So to recap, Advanced vendors, something little known, very rarely talked about, because I don't talk about it a lot. And a lot of the people coming into the space, I think, have, I don't even want to say it because that sounds egotistical, but a lot of the people come in have learned from very few of us over the last 10 years. And this isn't talked about because I've never talked about it. I've never talked about advanced vendors before because I talk about building business credit and they don't help you build business credit, but they're essential to the growth of your business because they'll give you the individual specific, industry specific funding you need to grow the business. And that's why you really want to look into them, because a lot of them, like John Deere or Interstate Batteries, could be very valuable to help you grow the business, even if they're not important with helping you build business credit. So next time, we're going to talk about sprinter vans, retail credit, and more, and the nitty gritty of business credit and financing. I'm going to break all of that down for you, so make sure you tune in. If you got value here, hit the like button, hit the love button, and share this so you can help other people that you know, and subscribe so you're notified when we release new content. This is all we teach. The only thing we teach is how to get money to start and grow a business. So whenever you're getting a video from us, it's this brand new credit line rolled out, this brand new business credit rolled out. Here's a tip to be able to get money. Here's how you get the best terms. Here's a credit report you don't know about that lenders are using to get information, and here's how to get it for free. So if you like that kind of information that helps you get the most money and set your business up for success, make sure you subscribe as well. And don't forget to give us a call for a free consultation. On a free consultation call, 3 things happen. First of all, we've talked about fundability during this training. We do a fundability assessment. We do a check to figure out where you're wrong, where things are broken, and help you fix it. The next thing that we help you do is build business credit without a personal guarantee, without a personal credit check. And we get your business credit reports with the reporting agencies at no cost. We get them for you for free. They're $250 if you go direct and get them. We go over those with you and give you tips and tactics to build your business credit. And we do a funding qualification to tell you all the funding you're able to qualify for right now. That all happens on a consultation. 3 ways to get it. You can give us a call at 877-600-2487. That's 877-600-2487. You can also go to info@creditsuite.com. That's info@creditsuite.com. Or you can schedule your consult on your own time at creditsuite.com/consult. Don't forget to go to creditsuite.com at the top right of our page and like and subscribe on our channels. We have daily tips on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. So for example, I have 1-minute tips on everything you can imagine, from how to put together a pitch deck to how to get angel investing in private monies to how to make yourself more appealing to lenders. 1-minute tips that you only find on places like TikTok or Instagram. We've got thousands of videos on YouTube that you'll only find on YouTube. We've got daily tips on Instagram and Facebook, as well as Twitter, that you only find those daily tips there. And we've got a podcast, the Business Credit and Financing Show, that has over 500,000 downloads. Very popular. You can listen to the stuff on the go, and it's the only place that we bring in experts outside of the financial space that just teach you how to run and grow a business. The guest that I interviewed yesterday was all about how to grow a recession-proof business, something we all need to know. So these experts come on and teach you everything about how to grow a business, scale a business, brand your business, and all that happens on our podcast, the Business Credit Financing Show. You can access all those links to the top right of our page. Don't forget to grab our free business credit building guide. You can get it at creditsuite.com/EIN. It's also at creditsuite.com/live. That will give you the step-by-step process to build your business credit. So thanks for tuning in. Brilliant. Thank you very much for coming in and accepting the training. And Denixa, I love that name. Love your channel. So much information in one place. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Isa Vibe, and excuse me if I mispronounce some of your names. Knowledge, I love that. Vaughn is saying great info as well. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I appreciate that. If we can help you along the way, don't forget to give us a call for the free consultation. And I look forward to seeing you on our next training where we talk about more cool ways to get money to start and grow your business. Have a great day.